Grand Rising, my good people. Grand Rising, how you doing? This is your Coach Renz, and welcome to Why I Left Religion with Coach Renz. Back from a long extended weekend, and we are live today on our continued What's Wrong with the Bible. We're entering Numbers, and today is going to be exceedingly boring until we get past the first part. Until we get past the chapter, then we can just have free conversation. My gosh, my God. Sometimes it's like, why are we doing this? Because some of these books are, I don't know why, they're boring as hell, which is why most people haven't read some of these books. I guarantee you probably have never heard a sermon preached on these aspects of Numbers. I bet you money. You know why? Because there ain't nothing to talk about. Not really. Except for one couple of glaring things, that don't, there's a couple of glaring little things, but for the most part, it don't make sense. It's boring. You can't get a good sermon that's gonna get you some good money off Numbers. But I know I want to go through some of the other books of Deuteronomy and Judges and all that, so we're gonna do this one. I know we ain't gonna do Chronicles. Maybe Kings or something. But at some point, this has to stop. At some point, it has to stop. Now, I'm just delaying until 5 minutes to give people a chance to get on. But at some point, going through this book like this is going to have to stop, and we're just going to jump around and just be wherever we want to be. But at some point, this has to stop. Because having to read chapters like these two are boring as hell. Oh my gosh. But I hope you guys had a great weekend. I had a great weekend up in Wilmington, North Carolina. Got back yesterday. Today, definitely, when I stopped today, got to run and my truck won't open up my car, and somebody was trying to use my card in a whole nother state. So I got to go get some new bank cards today. So, yay, woo, yay me. But it's all right. I'll get the trunk open, and we will get some new bank cards today, and everything gonna be all right. Please continue to share the channel, share every video. I'm gonna post some videos later today. Make sure you share those videos, because while I'm sitting outside waiting on Ford, or sitting out at the bank waiting to get new bank cards, I might as well make some more videos. So I'll be making those things. But how was you guys' weekend going? How's you guys' weekend go? Christian, how you doing, my guy? And my espresso coffee machine that I showed y'all last week is going through a cleaning right now, so I don't even have coffee. So if you hear that every now and then, that's the machine cleaning itself. I had to install a new oil pan. You're a better man than me, because she will probably not have any oil in her car if I did it. I am not mechanically inclined. I don't work on vehicles, but glad that she got you, Christian. So we've been through Exodus. If you're just joining us and you're going through this and you're seeing this video, you're saying, "Oh man, wow, you guys are in Numbers. I wish I would have been here when you was in Exodus or Leviticus or Genesis." Go to the YouTube channel, and look on the playlist, and you'll be able to see all the other videos. But I forgot to create a new playlist for this one. For that beautiful pineapple. Yes. Let's have one for this one. Got it. The beauty of technology. All right. James, Grand Rising. How you doing? So we are about to get started. So this, for all those who are finding this for the first time, we are literally reading the Bible. We started at Genesis. You can go to the, like I said, the playlist, and you can see the other Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, and what else? You can see those. And we're starting in Numbers. I hate to do this to y'all. This first 2 chapters of Numbers are going to be very boring. So I'm just saying, hold on until we get past it. Then we can have some other conversations about some other stuff. All right. So I just need y'all to hold on through this Genesis, through this Leviticus, because y'all know if we were to skip this part and then we're somewhere else later on, oh well, you skipped chapter 1, chapter 2, and that was vital in the context of understanding when you get to such and such and such and such, which I'm gonna tell you right now, it doesn't. Chapter 1 and chapter 2 is really okay. So let me give you the historical. Where we are historically with this. Grand Rising CJ, Bing Love, Curious One, how you guys doing? So I don't want to make this part too long. So I'm trying to think of the simplest way to explain this. This is propaganda. A lot of what we've read thus far, and especially when we get into these parts, are propaganda in order for them, the people, during the reign of Hezekiah, and then in Josiah's reign, and then when Ezra came back after Babylonian captivity, these were attempts to establish an antiquity, to establish a history for people who didn't really have one, especially when it came to Hezekiah in around 720, 722, 750, somewhere around there. Actually, probably before that, because the Assyrians sacked them around 722. So probably around 740, 750, when Hezekiah, these were the attempts of, we need to give our people antiquity, we need to give our people history, and books like Numbers had to be written or constructed in order for them to have a history. Much in the same way that people are questioning whether or not Charlemagne and that whole Merovingian line ever existed. It's just people concocting histories. In the same way that you got people who, like, I challenge people every time I get somebody who's saying that, oh, my ancestry comes from royalty. Prove it. I need some proof. Prove your family comes from royalty. Prove your family comes from this country or that country, or you're from this tribe or that tribe. Just because you say it doesn't make it true. But these people are just saying it because this is being constructed in the 8th century BCE. And what we have is the aftermath of the Bronze Age collapse, Egypt losing control of the Levant, losing the Battle of the Sea People soon, which are the Phoenicians. And you have a bunch of people who are now popping up, the Edomites, the Moabites, all these other smaller groups are now popping up and coming into power because Egypt is now, kicked out of the Levant after being defeated by the Phoenicians. So everybody wants to make a name for themselves. Grand Rising McQueen, Grand Rising Debbie, everything's going great. So in the attempt to make a name for themselves, they had to create shit like Numbers, like Exodus. And a lot of this is going to be repetitive. I'm sorry. I'm just go ahead and apologize for the biblical writers. Some of this repetitiveness, they padding the sin count. I like cinema scenes, but I also like the Birdman. So you're like, you padding the sin count, bro? They padding the Bible. They padding the sin count by adding a whole bunch of stuff, especially repetitive things that don't need to be repeated. I could have did chapter 1 and chapter 2 real quick in one chapter, a few verses, and we'd have been done, right? Done. But they're gonna pad the sin count. Yep, Stephen says it's a plagiarized book, and it's filled with plagiarism that morons actually they think it happened. And here's the thing: there is very little to zero proof of most of the things in the Bible happening. there are some things that happen, but that's why people try to, there could have been a King David that was in control of Jerusalem, maybe in control of Jerusalem, but he didn't have all that they claimed that he had. He didn't have this big vast kingdom. That never happened. And possibly there's no proof. There's only one little inscription that says House of David, but they're not, you can't validate that that's King David. You know what I'm saying? Because they built temples along the line of Solomon, you can't say that. Now, Solomon's son, there is more proof of Solomon's son than there is of Solomon, which is funny as hell. Wait, they were pagans though. Solomon, David, all these ancient Israelites, these were all pagans. They were all pagans. Oh, I'm getting to a whole nother. That's later. That's later. That's after. That's after. That's after. That's only after. That's only after. Not right now. But the point is, this is a creation story. These are made up. They're creating antiquity for themselves. So we're gonna go ahead and power through some of this stuff. Okay, we gotta power through it. Y'all power through it with me. Okay. I'm gonna try to. Matter of fact, I ain't gonna fool around with the no glasses thing. We're gonna put the glasses on so we can read everything clearly and concisely and get through it. Because we're gonna take another census in the book of Numbers. Another census. Yep. Some people buy into it as infallible proof. Well, there are tons of mistakes and contradictions. Yep. And they're gonna be one in this one. So we let's go. Let's get it. The Lord spoke to Moses in the tent of meetings in the desert of Sinai on the first day of the second month of the second year after the Israelites came out of Egypt. And he said, now mind you, if he's talking to them on the first day of the second month of the second year, then pretty much is saying that between everything in Leviticus that we just read in Leviticus happened in about a couple of months. About a couple of months. Everything in Leviticus happened in a couple of months. If this is the time frame that he's actually saying this. All right, so I want you to keep that in mind. So let's go. He said, take a census. Yeah, about 3 to 9 days. Take a census of who the Israelite community by their clans and families, listing every man by name, one by one. You and Aaron are to count according to their divisions all the men in Israel who are 20 years old or more and able to serve in the army. One man of each tribe, each of them, the head of his family, is to help you. These are the names of the men who are to assist you. So now we're going to do a census. Now remember, we just did a census in Exodus 30. Right? We just did a census in Exodus 30. So I want y'all to go at some point. While I'm reading all these repetitive things, look at Exodus 30, and I want y'all to go ahead and tell me how many people, the total number of people were counted in Exodus 30. And we have had at least a month or more pass since the last census. But I want to show you something. And some other stuff that don't make sense in this. Grand Rising to Haven, Quran, Grand Rising. From Reuben, I'm gonna mess up a lot of these names, so don't get mad at me. From Reuben, Elazar, son of Shedeur. From Simeon, Shelumiel, son of Zurishaddai. From Judah, Nahshon, son of Amminadab. From Issachar, Nathaniel, son of Zurar. From Zebulun, Elab, son of Helon. From the sons of Joseph, from Ephraim, Ishmael, son of Amihud. From Manasseh, Gamaliel, son of Pedahzur. Yeah, whatever. From Benjamin, Abidan, son of Gideoni. From Dan, Ahiezer, son of Ammishaddai. From Asher, Pagiel, son of Okran. From Gad, Eliphaz, son of Duriel. Some scholars think that that was supposed to be Ruiel, but in their writing, the D and the R look very similar, so they could be either one. That's not a big deal though. From Naphtali, Ahira, son of Enan. Yeah, I was going through some struggle love on that one. These were the men appointed from the community. So they just announced a whole bunch of people. I guess we got new characters. So these are the men appointed from the community, the leaders of their ancestral tribe. They were the heads of the clans of Israel. Moses and Aaron took these men whose name had been specified, and they called the whole community together on the first day of the second month. The people registered their ancestors by clan and family. The men 20 years old or more were listed by name, one by one. As the Lord commanded Moses, so he counted them in the desert of Sinai. And y'all know that later on in the Bible, a man gonna do a count and they're gonna get killed. Yep, they're the friendly line. Grand Rising Christopher, Michael, Grand Rising. So from the descendants of Reuben, and this is where it's going to get really repetitive. So y'all just go through it with the struggle love with me. But remember in Exodus 30, a few months ago, they took a census. I just want y'all to have that in your mind. All right. From the descendants of Reuben, the firstborn son of Israel, all the men 20 years old or more who were able to serve in the army were listed by name, one by one, according to the records of their clan and families. The number of the tribe of Reuben was 46,500. I am going to cut and paste this. Understand, each one is going to say all the men 20 years old or more were able to serve in the army, listed by name, one according to another, blah, 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 blah. The son of, the tribe, the number of the tribe. So I'm just going to tell y'all the number of the tribe because y'all don't want to hear me read the same thing over and over again. But I want you to notice this, 46. So from the number of the tribe of Reuben, 46,500. From the descendants of Simeon, the number from the tribe of Simeon, 59,300. From the descendants of Gad, the number from the tribe of Gad was 45,650. From the descendants of Judah, the number from the tribe of Judah was 74,600. From the descendants of Issachar, the number of the tribe from Issachar was 54,400. Don't something seem weird to y'all? Do something seem weird? From the tribe of Zebulun, the number of the tribe of Zebulun is 57,400. From the descendants of Ephraim, the number of the tribe from Ephraim was 40,500. From Manasseh, 32,200. From Benjamin, 35,400. From Dan, 62,700. From Asher, 41,500. Grand Rising Cami, Grand Rising Margarita. Y'all don't notice anything that's strange about this? From the descendants of Asher, 41,500. From the descendants of Naphtali, 53,400. Have you ever done a census account? Have you ever looked at a census and it got these numbers that are perfectly divided by 100 that all end in zeros? Do y'all really? I mean, to me, come on, let's be real. Mathematically, that is impossible that all 12 tribes end in zeros, and they're counting all the able-bodied men who are able to fight, the 20 years and older who are able to fight in the army. And every tribe, there's not 53,421, 41,803, 62,775. They all end in perfect zeros. How in the hell all of them end in a perfect zero and only one got a 50 in it? The rest of them are perfectly divisible by 100. Only Gad got 650. Impossible. That doesn't happen. I passed by a small town in back when I was going across country, and they had one of them signs out there where they told you still had the population. And even when they had the population, it was not a perfect even number like that. It went a zero at the end. And then a month or two or maybe 3 have went by, right? Right. The math ain't mathing. The math don't math. The math ain't mathing. You're exactly right, Debbie. It's all lies, Christopher. But you mean to tell me in these couple of 3 months that has passed since the last census, nobody has died, nor has anybody gotten older, clicked over 20, no birthdays, nor has anybody been injured and not able to fight? I'm just saying. Where the new people at? Don't know if you know this, but all numbers reduce down to anywhere from 1 to 9. Just do the math. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what you're talking about. I'm curious. Now, I don't know. They die in tens, Cammy. I don't know if anybody went and looked it up in Exodus and looked up the count there. Because here's what's interesting, and it's so amazing. This is the most amazing thing that's ever happened in creation. There were the men counted by Moses and Aaron and the 12 tribes of Israel, each one representing his family. All the Israelites, Israelite 20 years or more who were able to serve in Israel's army were counted according to their families. The total number being 603,550. Let's take the numbers 656, and 5 is 11. 1 and 1 is 2. You can repeat this all through all numbers. You talking about like figuring out the number, like 6 plus 5 equals 11 plus 6 equals 17. 1 and the 7 equal 8. Is that what you're talking about? I'm not sure. Grand Rising Dawn. Okay, it's a miracle, Cammy. It must be a miracle. Because how is it that ain't nobody had a birthday or none of those things during this time frame since the last census that you took in Exodus? Ain't nobody got older, ain't nobody got hurt. Everybody just fine, perfect, and well. And didn't they kill 3,000 people when he came down from the mountain with the 10 Commandments? So them numbers should be at least, a little bit different since you killed some people. Don't get saying. But people want to do this. They want this book, but if it's supposed to be a perfect God, then this, and it's perfectly inspired, this should be perfect. And I'm a little cranky, y'all. I'm telling you, because my coffee is cleaning. My coffee machine cleaning. So right now, I need my coffee. Y'all might have to take a journey with me into the kitchen because I'm gonna need some coffee for this over. Yeah. So where we at? Okay, so we got a count again. Got another count. The ancestral tribe of the Levites, however, were not counted along with the others. So we didn't count the Levites. There's a reason. It's immigration. That's right. Curious. You're going down the rabbit hole at the wrong time. Wait. Could it be minimum 90 days? I don't understand what you mean by could it be the 90 days equal the minutes and the minutes? What does that have to do, DeHaven, with the fact that there's an impossibility for these numbers to be exactly the same as the numbers in the earlier count in Exodus, and time has passed? Now, if it was no time had passed, if they were saying, well, back when we was in Exodus and we took a census, the numbers were X, Y, and Z. These were the numbers. But we're taking another census. And the reason why we're getting ready to take this census is because it's going to tell you where people are going to be in the encampment and where they're going to go and how the encampment is going to be set up in chapter 2. I'm going to get my coffee, LaQuinn. I love y'all. I love my coffee. Gotta have it. So let me finish this chapter. Let's finish this chapter. Did they cancel the bastard's baby born out of wedlock? See, I want to get into something about that, but I'm saving that for a video that I'm doing later about the children born from children born from other from non-Hebrew women. But the ancestral tribes of the Levites, however, was not counted along with the others. The Lord said to Moses, "You must not count the tribe of the Levi, or include them in the census of the other Israelites, because they're special, and we're doing that nepotism thing. Instead, appoint the Levites to be in charge of the tabernacle of the covenant of law, over all the furnishings and everything belonging to it." You know that's a lot of gold. They are to carry the tabernacle and all its furnishings. They are to take care of it and encamp around it, because you know you got to give all your goats and money to these people. Whenever the tabernacle is to move, the Levites are to take it down, and whenever the tabernacle is set up, the Levites shall do it. 2 men in a truck. Anyone else who touches it will be put to death. That's kind of harsh. That's you touch it. Just say you fall down a hill, or you get tripped up, and you going in and I got my sacrifice, to the Lord. I got a male goat with no blemish, I got it and bringing it to the Lord. You trip over a stick and you touch it, you're gonna die. Oh, I didn't even see the email, Dwayne. My bad. But I appreciate the thought of coming to. I was sitting in the cigar lounge in Wilmington. I was like, wait a minute. And I should have looked at my email. What that dude at? All right, we'll catch up another time. But yeah, that is kind of harsh. You trip up and bam, oh, you dead. Damn, God. It's kind of wrong. But anyway, the Israelites are to set up their tents by division, each of them in their own camp under their standards. The Levites, however, are to set up their tents around the tabernacle. I just realized something. Around the tabernacle of the covenant law, so that my wrath will not fall on the Israelites community. The Levites are to be responsible for the care of the tabernacle of the covenant law. The Israelites did all of this just as the Lord commanded. The only thing a pastor can, and you know what, I don't know, a pastor can get out of this is that, he's a pastor of the Levites, and y'all supposed to take care of him. He ain't supposed to do no work. He needs to be counted amongst the regular people. When y'all are doing stuff, you don't count him. Y'all just pay for me. Don't touch the altar. You might die. But there's no sermon you're going to get out of that one. They don't teach sermon on that. You don't get one because there's nothing to teach in that one. But we're going to keep on going to the next one. This is boring. Oh, I thought my machine was done. I'm listening. Okay. Sorry. Had a message I had to answer to. All right, so now we got to arrange them. If you saw the thumbnail then on YouTube or Facebook, then you know what this is, the arrangement. This is the encampment of how they're setting it up. So let's get into the encampment, because this was the whole purpose, and this is going to have some repetitive bullshit again as well. And then we can get into some regular conversation, because this is a horrible day. This is one of those chapters that it's like it doesn't belong in here. There's no reason for it to be in here, but it's only in here because they are trying to establish some kind of antiquity. And this was done during the reign of Hezekiah. The Lord said to Moses and Aaron, the Israelites are to encamp around the tent of meeting, some distance from it. Don't get too close to it, because you know if you trip up and touch it, you're going to die. Each of them under their standard and holding their banner of their family. So it's a military setup is what they're doing, what they about to pretty much show you. Sorry. All right. On the east, towards the sunrise, the division of the camp of Judah are to encamp there under the standard. The leader of the people of Judah, Nahshon, son of Amminadab, and Amminadab, division. His division number 7,600. Why is in that? The tribe of Issachar shall camp next to them. We don't need to go through the names again. Y'all can see the name. This is Nathaniel. He's Zerar. They got 54,400 people. We don't need to go through the names, do we? I didn't think so. The tribe of Zebulun will be next to them. So you're putting these three together. All the men assigned to the camp of Judah, according to their division, number 186,400. They will set out first. So they're going to the east. All of them. So they're doing some dividing here. Grand Rising Portia. They're dividing some people up. On the south, you know the south side always get a bad rap though. On the south would be the division of the camp of Reuben under their standard. The tribe of Simeon would camp next to them, and the tribe of Gad would camp next to them. All together, it's 154,450 people. I am not going to kill y'all with reading every little boring part of that, so that you have an understanding of where everybody's in camp. All right. The tent of meetings, they're to set out second. Then the tent of meetings and the camp of the Levites will be set out in the middle of the other camps, middle of the camp. They will set out in the same order as they encamp each in their own place under the standard. On the west will be the divisions of the camp of Ephraim, the tribe of Manasseh, and the tribe of Benjamin. They total to be 108,100 people. They will set out third. And in the north will be the division of the camp of Dan under their standard, as well as the tribe of Asher and the tribe of Naphtali. Their total number is 157,600. So where they weak point at? They got less troops. I'm just curious where they got their weak point. They got 186 there, 151 there, 108. So on the side of on the west side is where they got the least number of troops. Militarily, that makes sense, because if somebody's attacking most people ain't gonna attack at night. You back up people. You coming in, most people attack from the east into the sunlight, trying to hide their numbers. It's a good encampment. But these are the Israelites, counted according to their families, all the men in the camp by their divisions number 603,550. Amazing. They come out in these perfect zero. The Levites, however, were not counted along with the other. We know that with the other Israelite. You said that the previous chapter, as the Lord commanded Moses. So the Israelite did everything the Lord commanded Moses, and this is the way they encamp under the standard, and that is the way they set out. Each of them with their clan and family. So, like I said, the whole point of this chapter, these two chapters we just went over, which is amazing that they got the same number of people that they had 3 months ago, right? Which is impossible. We ain't got the same number. If you counted all the people in America right now, and then count everybody in America, nah, I ain't gonna go that far. If you count everybody in the state of Georgia right now, and then by nightfall, count everybody in the state of Georgia, the number will change. These motherfuckers done went 3 months, and the number's still the same. That is not possible. Nobody got older. Nobody got hurt. Nobody died. And it's the same number of people that left Egypt after you killed 3,000 people after you left Egypt. How is that possible? How is that possible? Grand Rising Renee, Grand Rising Richie. History is easy to manipulate, especially to people who can't read. Of course. And history is always written by the victor and those who are in charge. So if Hezekiah said so, the people had to do it. And actually, Hezekiah's grandson kind of reverted back to paganism, and then Josiah took him back to, to this mess. And then Ezra kind of like went all in. Coach, ain't the Bible that they consider all truth they supposed to teach from any book in it? They pick and choose. If Jesus is the New Testament, then why they still teach from the Old Testament? Oh, well, they got to get them Old Testament laws in there that benefit the church. And here's the thing about it. They want to separate themselves from the Old Testament, but yet and still at the same time, they need Jesus to be connected to the Old Testament to validate Jesus being the Son of God. You don't want the Old Testament God and all his atrocities, but you have to connect Jesus to it, which would still be more like how the Gnostics, they teach that Jesus is not God, but the Old Testament God is the demiurge, and that the monad is the primary God, but the monad is too busy to deal with little humans, so he sent the demiurge and he sent Jesus's to handle the business down here, because the monad is too busy out there in the universe creating and doing stuff. Oh, y'all about to go in there. I think my coffee machine done. My coffee thing is done. Y'all about to go. Y'all about to go on a coffee trip. Y'all about to go on a coffee trip for sure. But we still talking. Life just ain't right without the coffee. Oh, somebody asked, like, what's all them post notes when some of them fell down and I got to redo them? That's our mastermind. That's my mastermind projects. And also, remember to do stuff. So, nobody's going to preach from that. Nobody preaches from those sermons. Preach sermons based on that. On that right there. Because we need some water. There's nothing to teach other than the fact that those numbers are an impossibility. There's no way that those numbers come out the way they come out. If you remember what the other one said, that they had already taken the census and some months went by, so how in the world are they going to be able to have the exact same numbers? And I mean, that's about it. That chapter is otherwise useless other than them trying to attempt, especially after the Babylonian captivity, to create their own histories. But those initial histories were created after the Bronze Age collapsed and Egypt was no longer in control of the Levant, and different people groups were coming up. The biggest one being the Phoenicians at that time frame, and then later followed by the Assyrians. So they were trying to construct their own history. I think my coffee machine should be ready. It's not possible, and that's where a lot of Christians get confused. They don't accept or want to believe that even back then there were victor narratives. Oh, definitely. Conquer soul, and it was, and they hold on to it and believe on that was the truth and don't use critical things. No, they don't. Oh, you got a joke, Richie? Ah, it's still not working. It's not done cleaning. But what's your joke, Richie? But you got to think about it. Every time somebody won, or every time there was somebody in charge, and they tried to understand how things work, they tried to reform it through their religions. And many of these religions were very similar because they was all around the same, was together, you know, in there together, the people of that area. So they're going to have these similar stories, but they also wanted to separate themselves. I don't know what's going on. My coffee machine is not working. I need Angelina to come home right now and fix it because she fixed it last time. Why is that not working? Now, sorry, I get excited about my coffee. See, I'll get this masterminding going on right here. You gotta get that, get it. It's ground up, nice and fresh. Grounds. And now, put the cup. First, we do a double espresso. Let me see what his joke is. One night my wife wake up crying. She told me she dreamed I got another woman pregnant, and and she began to move, and she begging on Jesus and rebuking in the name that she don't have to go through. Are you serious, Richie? You know I gotta get my coffee working. Then after the double espresso, I move it over to just a regular coffee to get a certain amount and rerun it through to get more. So she thought, and I gotta walk over here. She thought that you got another woman pregnant. So in the pregnancy, she started rebuking it in the name of Jesus that it wasn't true. What was she gonna do? She was trying to pray for a. Wouldn't that be against that kind of like an abortionist kind of thing? I'm gonna pray as a woman if she is pregnant that she don't have a baby or that she's not pregnant at all. That don't make any sense. I got my almond milk. I'm doing a little different today. And I'm gonna put some caramel in that joint. Because I don't have my normal cream. Richie, that's crazy. So she didn't ask you about it. She didn't say like, are you, I had this dream. I bet she was scared to ask you if you're cheating on her. That's probably what it is. It's probably me a little loud, so excuse me. I'm assuming she was scared to ask you if you was cheating on her or anything like that. Census of agriculture could be the. Hold on. Oh, I got a trick though. It takes some almond milk, some natural carrot, some caramel. Sorry, my apologies. My apologies. That was much louder than normal. No, sir. I'm the man. Oh, yeah. Life is so much better. Life is so much better. Oh, I think the Holy Spirit just jumped into my body. The Holy Spirit of Nicaraguan beans mixed with Ethiopian beans just jumped into my spirit. Oh. Okay. All right. You know what? Y'all are great. So amazing for hanging in through my stupidity and everything. I appreciate y'all tremendously in that. No. No, I got some error message on my laptop. My battery on the laptop is not charging, so the time that I was gone was enough time for my laptop. Yep, was enough time for LaQueen get back on Facebook. Stay on Facebook. That was enough time for my laptop to actually lose total power. So it's gonna be time for a new laptop real soon, or I don't know if I can get a new battery added to laptops. They're different now, where you could used to be able to take the batteries out. Anyway, completely lost my train of thought because of this thing. What are we talking about? Let's see. Maybe I can get it back. Caffeine make you jump. What's up, coach? Gonna make me jump. Get into a Holy Ghost dance. If the family ain't up and can't run that, I'm the last one to get up in this house, so we good. You 33 and she's 44, so she's worried. She gotta have that Sarah faith. Now, if she's had that experience from her last husband, I can understand that. You know, her being in fear of that, having a dream like that. But really, she's just having a dream because she just has that fear in her. She just got that fear in her. And because she has that fear, it's going to creep up in her mind. And oftentimes it'll show up in a dream. She can rebuke it all she wants to. What she needs to do is gain confidence in herself and in you. And she'll be all right. But she has to work through that and realize that you're not her ex. But you're not her ex. So she just has to realize that, which takes a lot of reassuring on your part. But mainly she got to go through the process on her own and really come to that realization within her own mindset and control over her emotions, and be able to take that emotion every time it crops up and replace it, and replace the thought, replace the emotion, so much so that her mind and her heart, her emotions start to do it automatically without her even having to contemplate or think about it. But it takes focused practice to be able to do that. You have to purposely do it to get to a point where you have the hypnotic rhythm and she just does it automatically. Otherwise, she'll keep having these dreams. It won't change. Tell her a pastor said that. Don't tell her I said it. She might, if she's Christian, she might not like it if I said it. But that's just the truth of what she needs to do. That's how you change anything. You can change almost any aspect of fear, anxiety, getting past your old traumas through that process. The amount of work it takes for each one is still going to be different, but it just takes work. But she needs to figure that out. Be able to know that that's just some old hurt baggage that she carrying. Some Christian gonna say that, oh, see what the Lord did? He blacked out your video. It's called technology. It's called this laptop. I've had this laptop for a number of years now, and they build everything to die within 3 to 5 years. No. It'll be time for a new laptop probably before the end of the year. Ain't got nothing to do with no. God don't like what you talking about. She worries she can't have any more kids, and I guess you said don't have any. Do you want some kids? I got 3 grown. 2 of them cost me money. I can give them 2 if you want some kids, Richie. Now they grown, but they still cost money. You want some kids? But now that's interesting. Do you want kids? If she's worried that she can't have kids, are y'all trying to have children? I know this ain't got nothing to do with what we're talking about, but now we passed the little Bible part because those were 2 horrible, boring chapters. Hopefully the story gets better. Get back to the genocide and the killing. Like, that's what made that book exciting to read. Killing folks, genocide, and stupid ass laws, stoning people. But yeah, hey, it's problem solving day. Problem solving day. Shoot me a problem. I'ma solve it. That's what we got. That's what Richard just started. We're talking about anything too. And before I'm gonna go ahead and say it because I know somebody's gonna bring it up. I'm gonna go ahead and bring it up for you though. Don't care what's going on in Israel right now, to be honest. We got people down in Haiti fighting, trying to oust a corrupt government that's puppeted by, foreign nationals. And I'm more concerned about that than I am about what's going on in Israel. They've been fighting over this ever since they made Israel state in 1948. So the Palestinians don't want them there. None of the Arab countries are acknowledging them as a state, hadn't been acknowledged them as a state since 1948. They fought wars against it. They're going to keep fighting wars against it. They got a peace treaty with Egypt right now, but they don't have issues. The Muslims just not going to accept that as a state, as a Jewish state, and believe that they need to be eradicated. Until some generations change and get past that, it ain't going to happen, but they still fighting. Nobody was saying anything when Israel was throwing bombs at the Palestinians. Now everybody was like, oh, they throw bombs, they shoot rockets at this. It's called war. As far as these people are concerned, they in a war. They've been in a war. So I think every country should pull back. Let them fight it out. Whoever win. Her age, she's worried about that. I mean, she's 44. I had an aunt, she had a baby around that age time frame. But do you want kids? You keep on missing that part, bro. Do you want some children? Because if you do, you got to figure out when she ovulates, like 3-4 days before her cycle. And then y'all got to get it in like a champ, 2, 3, 4 times a day. Get all in there you can during that time frame. Pop out a baby. About 3-4 days. So it's like after her, I think it's from the beginning of her last one, you count 28 days, and then that's the ovulation cycle. Or it's at the end of her cycle, you count 20. Nope, it can't be at the end. So it had to be at the beginning. Because 28 gotta be that's too many damn days. Or it might be at the end. Or is it 23 days at the end? It's something like that. I haven't had to worry about it for like 20 plus years. But it's a number of days that you count either from the end or the beginning. And then those are her normal ovulation days. And then, but for like 3-4 days, y'all get it in like champs. And higher probability of pregnancy. That's the only time she can get pregnant. Knock it out. Right now would be. Let's see, it's October, November, December, January, February, March, April, May, June. Yeah, actually, this month will be perfect because then I don't know where you live, but you don't want a hot pregnant woman. You know, you don't want them last days behind. You don't want her to be going through like the summer and she like 7 months, 8 months through the summer. But if you can get it in now and get her pregnant now, then that means she should have a baby around May, June. So it ain't too hot. Grand Rising Michelle, how you doing? Yeah, you can catch the replay. We did numbers 1 and 2, and it's boring as hell, but I tried to make it as lively as possibly can. If people treated the babies like old laptop, we wouldn't have to explain the nonsense to them. What? If people treated babies, treated the Bible. Well, let me clean my eyes. Treat the Bible like an old laptop, we wouldn't have to explain the nonsense. Exactly, we wouldn't. We would not. If you go back and get my old 486, it will be pointless. It's not functional for today. It doesn't work for today. I wouldn't be able to load any programs on that thing. It would literally be a ghost computer. Whereas it's only set, I don't even think you can do that today, where you can use it as just a dumb terminal and set it up where it just attached to the server, and on the server, you're actually working on the server, but it looks like you're working on the screen. And then that way, that's when I used to teach IT classes. We used to set up dumb terminals. That way you save money when you're building your school and you don't have to spend as much on high tech and just your server, and everybody's truly logging into the server. I don't even think a 46 will be able to do that today. But yeah, we treated them like that, like old laptops, no purpose. You gonna try that? She said her womb is low. Hmm. That could be complicated. I'm not a medical doctor, but that could be complicated. But you still should be able to get pregnant. It's just you got to be very careful during her pregnancy. I'm telling you, that little Indian doctor taught me the rhythm method. That's what they called it, the rhythm method. I guess I don't know if that's the technical name for it. I've always called it that. And when I tell you, them kids, the pregnancies happened exactly when I wanted them to. So that the kids were born, well, because the girls were born early, it kind of messed up my dating time frame. Like Sydney was supposed to be born in February, but she wound up being born in December. Simone was born in August, but she was supposed to be born in October. So I was trying to stack them a certain way. And then the boy was born in March, get some separation, but still got some separation. But that rhythm method, that counting, it worked. There's no way that Netanyahu didn't know this was coming. After all, it only helps him not hurt him. Of course. It's just like FDR. He knew they were getting ready to bomb Pearl Harbor. That's why he ordered the Pacific Fleet to be out of Pearl Harbor, all the carriers to be out of Pearl Harbor, because you got to sacrifice a little bit in order to get into the war. So yeah, now they got a peace treaty with Egypt, so they know Egypt most likely won't get involved, and they want to take Gaza and Palestine and take the whole of Israel. They want the whole landmass. So an attack like this, and then kidnapping those people from it was a concert or something like that, it's going to give him the political backing and the popular backing to run in there and do what he want to do. Just depending on what he does as to whether or not that will start a larger engagement. Yeah. And I did not check because, and I did get an alert, and this ain't got nothing to do with that part of what we're talking about, but I did get an alert today about I knew it. I knew the market was going to go up today. I knew the S&P was going to go up. I knew the TQQ went up $1.32. $1.32. Is it still rising? Shit, I might need to jump in that one. I knew I should have put an order in first, so that first in the early buying, this thing will probably run up to. Yep. SQQ is dropping like a stone. SQQQ and TQQ is rising. All the inverses are dropping. Don't take my advice on stocks. I'm telling y'all right now. I meant to check this morning. I knew the market was going to go up today because of that. Because ain't no money like making money during wartime. During conflict, certain economies go up. America is one of the big providers of weaponry for Israel. So tech stocks, working companies that provide shares who provide military grade weapons and all that's going to go up. If the war expands, it's really going to go up. If it prolongs, it's going to go up. You know what, Brett? One day I'm going to meet you, Brett, And y'all remember the movie when Chris Rock was elected president, and when Bernie Mac got off that train, and how he was slapping people? That's what I'm gonna do to Brett. We got a sunny day here in Georgia, but it's a little chilly. I had to turn the heat on yesterday. Had to turn the heat on for the first time last night. Keep on, Brett. I'm glad you're having a sunny day in St. Kitts and Nevis. Good. Have your little sunny day. Your little warm sunny day. Don't nobody care except me. Anyway, I have to say, when someone experiences sleeping problems, as waking up with marks on their skin and feeling like someone's holding them down while sleeping, or claiming they seeing someone watching them sleep when they what the heck? Like they went to bed no marks and they wake up and they got marks. And did they scratch themselves? I would record them sleeping just to see make sure they ain't scratching themselves and creating marks on themselves first before I believe something demonic or some angelic or some other being is doing it. Let me see you sleep first. Let me sleep study you. With Iran, Syria, Jordan, could be an expansion of it. If it is, and I saw people like, oh, you better get ready for the draft. We ain't drafting nobody for go fight a war over there. We ain't gonna fight. We would use this to make money. This would be purely a money-making opportunity for America if Israel were to go to war with the Arab countries over there. Market always goes up. You're welcome, Coach. I'm telling you, Brett. Oh, just right across, Brett. Yeah. That's what Brett gonna get. It's all right though, Brett. It's all right. One of these days, not this next cruise that we're gonna take, but I'm gonna make sure we take a Caribbean cruise that go to St. Kitts. Are you on St. Kitts or Nevis? But we're gonna go there and I'm gonna meet you. And I'm gonna get off the boat. And I'm gonna be just like my guy. And wow. And then we're gonna smoke some cigars and have some rum. But to go, because we'll send some special forces in there. We'll send some recon people in there. We'll do drone flights and things of that nature. But we ain't gonna get involved. You know, St. Kitts. All right. Only way we can put boots on the ground is if Egypt is getting his ass. I mean, Israel is getting his ass whooped, and all the Arab nations are joining in. But we would have to be careful about that, because do we really want to go to war against Saudi Arabia unless we're going to take Saudi Arabia so that we have their oil reserves? I don't think we're trying to get involved like that. Got to think about the money. Follow the money. Follow the money. I don't know. We want to keep Saudi Arabia, Qatar, the Dubai, United Arab Emirates. We want to keep them out of this. Oh yeah. So you're in the southern, almost the beginning of the Southern Caribbean. Yeah. There's a cruise that go out of Puerto Rico that I think goes down to St. Kitts. Go in there and slap the shit out of Brett. Always, because if he tell me this mess when it's cold, y'all, me and Brett gonna fight for real. I'll run through the room screaming and crying, and the person never had that experience. Who is this person? Like legit, record them sleeping. Record them sleeping. and see what happens. Do it for like a week, or at least until they have one of these episodes. It's funny that how now that no more money is going to Ukraine, now this is all now this. Oh, it's just another money grab. Yeah. It's the money. Everything is always a money grab. There's always some money involved. Money and influence. That's how the world works. You either use your influence to get money and power, or you use your money to get influence and power. One or two. But it's all about influence and money. I haven't even heard much about Ukraine lately. Like, I don't even know what they're doing. But I don't pay attention to what's going on in Ukraine. That ain't got nothing to do with me. You know, what's going on with the East African Federation and them finishing up the Constitution and getting everything squared away. America is always in the business war. Let me see if I can show y'all something. Do you guys know what? You guys know what that is? How many of you guys know what that is? Do I trade stocks? Nah, sort of. On a very low, if I lose it, it ain't gonna hurt me kind of level. Civil flag of peace. Yep, civil flag of peace. Have you ever seen us fly this flag? And do you know what this flag is? You ever seen that one? Of course, you've seen that one. That's our wartime flag. What flag do we always fly? What flag have you always seen us flying? America has always flown its wartime flag. We are in a constant state of war, right? So the American government is functioning as a wartime government at all times. We do not ever fly our peacetime flag. If I ever bought a flag to fly that represents this country, I will fly the peace. I will get a peacetime flag and fly that. Christian know what I'm talking about. Oh, can't record them because she resigned from work. This person had this experience sleeping in the female dormitory. Yeah, without recordings to see what was going on while she was sleeping, because I know people who sleep and they scratch themselves when I've scratched myself plenty of times when I'm sleeping. You know how good that dream is. That's why I try to keep my nails cut, because I dream a lot. And sometimes with the PTSD, I be fighting. I've been in St. Kitts and Nevis, a beautiful place. Yeah, your spell check messed up on you, Don. It's self-corrected. Why you want to rub that in, Don? See, Don, I thought we was cool. I thought we was cool. You know what I'm saying? You stop by the lounge anytime you're in Georgia. Now that I shut the lounge down, you come through Georgia, we can meet up. But I thought me and you was good to go. Now you just trying to rub stuff in my face. I got you. I see how you are. Now, if it was flown for no, it was flown for 3 years. Then never again. America had only 15, 16 years since the American founding with no war. Yeah. When was it flown? It was flown for 3 years. Really? I was trying to see if there was a quick little verbiage that would tell me when it was flown. I don't see it on a quick look. But that would be interesting to see what was going on, if I can see what years it was flown. Because I don't recall it ever being flown, but I have to look at that. I like learning new stuff. But we are a warring nation, and we like to promote war because war makes money. We got out of the Great Depression, and the world got out of the Great Depression because of war. After the U.S. won its independence, okay, I can see that. I can see that as being the only time. So she need to read the Bible and pray, because everybody was telling her that she needed to cover herself under the blood of Jesus from those evil spirits. What if it's the evil spirit that's in the Bible that's attacking her? Maybe she needs to pray to Baal or to Marduk, or pray to what's my girl? Raining Yeah. It's an Egyptian goddess. It's a cobra. She has a cobra head. I was actually drawing her once when I was working on my art. Raining. She is a goddess of protection, and mainly protection of the crops. Because cobras, they used to like having cobras in their fields because the cobras would keep the rats out. So they made a deity called Raining, and she would period. And she would keep. They used to praise her in Egypt, keep the rats away. She needs to pray to Raining. There's a song for Raining. You've heard it before, more than likely, if you're like me. If you like animation movies, you've heard it before. Have you ever seen damn, I can see the movie in my Madagascar 2. Madagascar 2 volcano scene. If you've ever seen the volcano scene from Madagascar 2, when they're all chanting the song that they're singing, that song is actually based on an Egyptian song to Raining. It was Raining. But that song is actually heal us, free us, something, save us. And that's a song hymn to Raining that they put into that movie because she's a saving goddess of the crops. Oh yeah, the main purpose of a lot of these wars is to make money. Make that money. And I'm gonna do another short video later. I gotta remind myself of all these short. Yeah, I gotta create a whole new wall thing of videos to make because I be having some ideas and then I forget what the damn idea is. But and I just forgot what I was about to say. See how that worked? Oh, yeah, no. About why Christians support Israel, considering Christians don't worship the same God as the Jewish people. All right? They don't worship the same God as the Jewish people. But yet, my chair been marking up this wall. But yet, we'll sit up there and they'll always want to protect Israel. Is it because they're European? The European Jews were sent there, and it's really a European thing. It's a Caucasian thing because the God is different. Right. Shortly after the War of Independence, he was involved with the war with the Barbary states. And that war was twofold. One, the Barbary pirates were capturing European and American vessels and enslaving the Europeans and Americans that they would capture from those boats, and they were taking their goods. Were they really concerned about the enslaving of the Europeans and the Americans? No. It's mainly because they were stocking their goods. The corporations were losing their money. They didn't really care about the people. So that's where the Marine Corps was created. The Marine Corps was created in a bar in Tongue's Tavern in 1776 to fight on Navy ships against the Barbary pirates. Took a whole bunch of people out of the bars and go whoop some ass. And my Marine Corps was created. That's the only thing American that I really, really love is my Marine Corps. As far as governmental things. Actually, I have a little statuette of Tongue's Tavern. It's only like, it was at one of the birthday of the Marine Corps, or one of the birthdays of the Marine Corps. The Marine Corps was a certain age, and they only made like 200 of them or 150 of them or something like that. They only made like 200 of them, and I got one of them. Right? Treaty of Tripoli. But other than that, America wants to stay constantly in war. You can impose sanctions and you can take away civil liberties and rights as long as you're in a state of war. Coach, people claim to say they having an evil and seeing evil spirits. Suppose that was the Holy Spirit that frightened the daylights out of them. After all, Jesus says he comes like a thief in the night. I think most of the time that is it. What does an angel actually look like according to the Bible? So if a person actually were to see what an angel, as the Bible describes it, looks like, you're talking about something that looked like that, right? These people would lose their shit. I remember asking a bunch of guys, if something like that walked into the room, what would y'all do? And these were a bunch of Christians. And they said they'll haul ass if something like that walked into the room. They would be utterly terrified if this joker walked into the room with the lion head, the human head, and the bull head. Now, they talk about how the Egyptians used to put animals on top of people's bodies, but they did the same thing. Where's that other one? I know which one I'm looking for now. Where's the one with all the eyes? Yeah, but if one of these angels, as they describe them in the Bible, the seraphims and the cherubims, and this joker here from Enoch come rolling up on some Christians, they hauling ass. They ain't hanging around for that dude. Oh. Oh, this one is animated. It's all animated too. So that's why they had to tell them jokers, fear not. But then when Inky is lizard-like, when Horus has a falcon head, oh, it's scary. They're demonic. Ooh. See, this is That's another video. Yep. That's another one. And DJ Khaled, and another one. These people will run in terror if they saw these things. Oh, you just showing some love? You ain't showing a damn love. I want to go to St. Kitts. I might not leave though. When I get a chance, look up Yuri Bezanov. Who is that? Give me a little bit. Make it worth me. Titillate my brain. Tell me a little bit about him. Make me want to look him up. But I can't have that. Can't have that at all. These people running around thinking that they've seen some angel, some demon, and really what you might be seeing the very thing that your Bible describes. So I would love to say, give me 1 second. Let me check something real quick. Y'all think about it. Think about that. What if you saw one of them angels that they call walk into the room? One of them things came walking into the room. Y'all were head for the heels. Now me, I'm gonna tell you right now, when I don't show up, I'm not running. I got questions. Where you from? What planet, what dimension are you from? I need to know. And how do I get there? How do I get there, bro? Grand Rising Brian from Cape Town. Oh, I already said Grand Rising Brian, but that's right, you're in Cape Town. Oh, yeah. Let me tell you something, Brian. This is what's going to happen. Over the next couple of years, I'll be able to get my passport back. When I get my passport back, a lot of these videos are going to be done from everywhere else. All right? I can tell y'all something right now. I'm going to go ahead and clue y'all into something that's going to happen not this January, not this February, rather. It'll be around February 1st. Not this February 1st, but next year, February 1st. The plan is to, I know we was gonna like go to Puerto Rico, but we changed. We changed our minds. The plan is next January, we're gonna buy an RV. And we're gonna create a travel, and Angelina loves to cook. She's a great chef. And I do my cigar thing, but we're gonna travel for anywhere from 2 to 5 years in an RV. We're gonna give up the house, travel in the RV, and just travel around. America, get the passport, do Canada, Mexico, all that. But then we'll do some flyouts to other places like Cape Town, to Egypt, Lake Titicaca. We're gonna do all of that. So, give me some time. We'll do Trinidad because we'll do Trinidad on a boat. Because we're gonna take a cruise in January, this January, or late January, February. We're gonna take a cruise. Russian de facto that tells the story of how the U.S. is in the trouble it's in. Why people can't expect facts. Okay, I like Russians, so I'll look them up. Bezmenov. Gotcha. Okay, got some videos on Facebook. Cool. But I'm getting out of this. We're getting out of this. That's one reason why we shut down the lounge. Get out of this stationary position. And we'll be here. We're going through our process of getting all the finances squared away and getting things situated so that around this time next year, we'll start shopping for an RV. And then we're going to hit the road. So we'll be coming to a town near you. Count you in on trips and cigars. And that's another, I'll be building my cigar channel as well, because I'll take this year and a half out. I only got 2,000 people on my cigar channel on Facebook and 500 and some change on YouTube. We'll be building those channels so that they are able to be monetized by that time frame. We'll then build a travel channel, get that monetized, and so we can get the hell on and let Facebook and YouTube and sponsors pay for these trips, pay for this travel, and this lifestyle. And we're going to live that way for probably, you say 2 years, but probably about 5 years that we'll live that way before we and we'll do some traveling to some other places, other countries as well. This channel, I'll be talking about the same stuff we talk about now, but then also talking about going to the ancient sites and to some other sites and talking about those. And when we pull up into towns, I'll be looking for whoever of y'all are in those towns, and we'll have meetups. And I'll do the same thing with cigar. On the cigar channel, we'll do meetups and things with the cigars, and she'll do things with the cooking, and gonna do a whole shebang. And just live our life that way for about 5 years or so. Knowing me, I'd be like, shit, let's ship this RV over to Africa. Just drive around Africa. That could take more than 5 years to drive around Africa, though. Is the peace flag flown that we're not engaged in conflicts? We've had 2 times with no conflicts, 21 years. Though no new conflicts or other presidency for quite some time. They would actually fly the peace flag. According to Christian Wilder, we've only flown that flag for about 2 or 3 years after the Revolutionary War, and then once we started the Barbary Wars, we've flown nothing but our wartime flag. So, and from the quick search that I did, that would seem to be correct. Of course, before I say yes, that's perfectly correct. I would have to research it a little bit more. But I don't. I know I'm 52. I'll be 50. I'll be 52 on Sunday, y'all. I'll be 52 on Sunday. Uh, Let me give you my cash app now. I'm just playing. I'll be 52 on Sunday, and we have in all my 52 years, we have never flown that flag ever. So we always involved in something. Nicaragua, Panama, Vietnam. Well, I was born during Vietnam, but I was not conscious of what was going on. You know, we're always involved in something. So I don't think we've ever flown it, other than maybe the time frame that Christian was talking about. But war is good business. War is very good business. Have I ever heard of the Bellamy salute? I have not. Mm-mm. Uh-uh. With your hand out salute, kind of like the British salute. Oh, that looks like the one that was adopted. It was actually a Roman salute, and then Nazis picked it up. So I see why we don't do that one. Ain't that funny? But let's think about that for a second. Let's contemplate that. Little children used to do this. 1915, there's a picture of some little kids doing it. Little children are doing it, doing this Bellamy salute with his hand out, similar to the German salute. But I've known that salute because I studied the Roman Empire back in the day, and that was a common salute for the Roman Empire. Yeah, that was how you saluted in the Roman Empire, right? So it was, and then when you leave, the Nazis pick it up, and all of a sudden now you can't do it because it's too similar to the Nazi salute. It's just like the swastika. Once they picked it up, now you don't want to utilize it. I don't even see the Buddhists using that as much as they used to. Everything changes based on culture. Whatever meaning we give it is what the meaning has. And they do that consistently, like with this Bible. So one of the videos I'm going to do today is El versus Yahweh, right? El versus Yahweh. And yet it had its meaning to those people back then. First and second millennial Hebrew Israelites were paganistic. They had both Yahweh and El. They had Asherah and his wife and all of that. But then when you get into Hezekiah around in the 700s, they moved to monotheism. They went back to paganism. Then they moved back to monotheism under Josiah and Ezra, and heavy under Ezra after the Babylonian captivity, or during and after the Babylonian captivity, which could have been heavily influenced by Zoroastrianism under the Persians, which would be some dude, the first dude, I can't think of his name right now, and then Darius the first. What's his name falling out of my head? The first one who released them and showed favoritism to them. But Ezra really established the Torah, and after that in Jerusalem, and was appalled at the people in Jerusalem for still marrying Canaanite women. That's going to be in my matriarchy versus patriarchy video that I'm going to lay on today as well. But the meanings were changed for everything based on what those in charge decided. You know, they had the Asherah pole for this guy's wife, which was a common thing throughout the Levant area, that, you know, that entire area, that there's this mother, this wife of God, the primordial mom. And prior to that, prior to Hezekiah and Josiah and Ezra, people like say we used to be a matriarchal society. It was only matriarchal in our heritage, your ancestry. Like, you were whatever the mother was, and women did own property, but they weren't in charge. Men were still in charge. So we weren't matriarchal as far as in being in charge, but we were matriarchal as far as who owned property. Often the husbands would go and live with the mother, the wife's family, and she would own the property. Inheritance would go through the mother and that sort of thing. But as especially after Ezra came into place, everything switched hardcore over to a patriarchal society where the bloodline went through the male. Because one of the things I'm going to highlight is technically the line of David should not have been considered. Ezra would not have considered the line of David to be Jewish, but definitely strictly Hebrew or Israelite, because their patriarchal ancestry at that time frame, they looked at it, it went through the mom, which Ruth was a Moabite, and she had Obadiah, and then so on all the way through Jesse and then David. So they would look at it through their wife. Ezra was like, if your mother's line was not Jewish, well, not Hebrew or Israelite, then you're not truly Jewish. But then all that got switched. But it took about 2,500 years for them to go through that full change. But it's all about, and see, we'll think about it today and say, oh no, it's all patriarchal. Look, it's Jesse and, Obadiah and Jesse. Nah, bro. That's how it changed, because those in charge changed it. So the thing really is, Grand Rising Bush. What really changed it was going through those reforms, just like most people who are Christian in America went through, are Protestants, because of the Protestant Reformation from Martin Luther, which changed Christianity for half of the people in Christianity that went away from Catholicism. And if it wasn't for King James being the last and biggest guy to change it over into Protestantism by creating the Anglican Church, then most people will still be Catholic. But these reformations, we have to look at these reformations and say, okay, well, what the people were thinking something else prior to that. So why am I trying to change what they thought? Why am I trying to look at this through my perspective? So all of this, most of the Old Testament, the Pentateuch writings and all of that should be looked at from the perspective of those people. And those people were very much polytheistic. They got rid of the very snake that Moses put up on a pole so that people would be healed if they got bit by these vipers. But snakes were venerated. Snakes were good. They symbolized regeneration. They also, the serpent was, a part of the Enki storyline and many others. So, but all of that got changed. And it's not like they looked at the people during the Moses time frame would have looked at it as something good. Asherah was looked at as somebody good. She was the mother of creation. But I'm gonna get into that in a separate video. Your Queen James video cracked you. Yeah, I was looking up some stuff because I was like, I'm gonna do a Queen James video. But then I saw that person's Queen James video. I said, oh, let me piggyback on theirs. Um, yeah, it was in America when they was doing that salute. So to go back to what that salute was cool for America until the Nazis started using it. So we changed the meaning of things all the time. See, I just go down the rabbit hole and went somewhere else. Little people really nice there. Are you saying that they got small people and they nice there? They also have black sand. Oh, that's nice. I've never been to a black sand beach. Coach, how religious people acknowledge Jesus as the bright and morning star, and then later in the Bible they also acknowledge Lucifer as the bright and morning star. Are confusing. It is, but this goes to how people thought about things as well. When the Greeks were translating that from the Hebrew writings, they understood that they was talking about Venus as the morning star, that star that shines bright right before the sun, but comes up and then it looks like it falls, in relation to this king and how he needs to show humility. So those people, Lucifer was the planet Venus before sunrise, and they were sun worshipers. So the sun. When you get into Revelations and they refer to Jesus as the morning star, they're talking about it in bringing the illumination and the life of the sun, the sun. They still talking about sun worship. So either way is sun worship. You know, it was used that way. And as far as bringing life. But of course, how people think today, they try to separate themselves from that. Victoria's Secrets. I don't know what I said that made you say that. Did you know that Victoria's Secret was actually started by a man? A man started Victoria's Secret, and then, but when he sold it, he didn't make all the money he should have made off of it. But it was actually started by a man because he wanted his wife to have some good stuff to wear. Reality is the best place for soul searching. You know what, Donald? If you send me pictures of St. Kitts, I'm gonna fight you. I'm gonna fight you too. You're gonna be my pre-fight before I get down there and fight my other dude. I'm confusing Brian, and I know Brian is in South Africa. Brian and Brett. That's why I'm getting confused. But yep. Oh, look like a dude at St. Kitts. He's doing a Bellamy salute in St. Kitts. Yes, I need that in my life. Even though I just left the beach this weekend, I need that one because that one's probably warm. It was cold, and it got cold at night. It was cold. But people of today wouldn't be able to separate the difference between of what the thought process of the people who wrote about Lucifer in the Old Testament and Lucifer in the New Testament. And they were really just talking about astrological events, astronomical events that occurred on a daily basis. Because you can see this every day, pretty much. Every day you can see Venus in the morning. You just got to get up early. And you can see Venus rising in the east, pretty much in the east. And the sun is going to rise where Venus came up. By the time the sun rises, Venus now moves across the sky, but it still stays pretty low in the sky. And so there's an optical illusion that it looks like it's falling, but it doesn't fall. It just moves on across the sky low. But the sun outshines it, and you can't see it until nighttime. You'll see it in the west when it gets dark. Were Satan and Jesus referred to as the bright and morning star? Satan is totally different from Lucifer. The Satan, which is a Sumerian word, actually means administrator. And so Enlil was the Satan of Earth. Enlil and Marduk got into a war because Marduk was saying it was my turn to be the Satan on Earth. So when the Satan is going up into heaven to have in this council, El is being referred to as Anu. Anu and El are similar. So Anu, El, Kronos, they're all similar as the creators, the top deity. So it is Enlil speaking to Anu, his daddy, and Anu saying that, hey, you see my boy Job? So the Satan is really an administrator. It's not, has nothing to do with Lucifer. And Lucifer has nothing to do with the serpent. And none of them have anything to do with the beast. It's all different. They're all different beings, but then the Catholic Church later merged them all into one being because people were asking that very question. It was like, it seems like we got three different devils. They also wind up incorporating Samhain, Azazel, and these other beings into this one satanic, into the devil. I watched the video on how the guy for Victoria's Secret was a drag queen. Hence why it's a secret. I don't know which one you've seen. I don't know of him being a drag queen. The guy who started the company, and I think he was in Arizona, if I remember correctly. He just wanted his wife to have some better lingerie. So you got to watch how some people they'll say some bullshit. It's kind of like people say God equals dog in reverse, and so they're really worshiping the dog. Like, okay, y'all just using some American English wordplay. Ain't got nothing to do with each other. Because it's just like I saw some video today. This guy talking about some girl named Sweetney, or Sweet somebody, is actually Lisa Lopez from Lisa Left Eye, that she faked her death. And he using some gematria to figure out to prove all his stuff. I'm like, come on, man, you kind of reaching there, bro. So you gotta be mindful of some of that stuff. But no, the story of that company started. Don't stop sending me stuff before I fight you. But yeah, it's a oh, everybody interesting. No, the guy who started Victoria's Secret, because I like to study companies, how they started, the process, that sort of thing. There's a really good YouTuber called The Company Guy. He will give you some really good breakdowns on how companies started, they rise, they fall, that sort of thing. And so he does very good videos on those as well. And I would say that like 95% of the information is right on point. I'm sorry. We have not been at war for 21 years. Why has the peace sign flag only been flown for 3 years? What did you think of Biden's declaring we are not at war back in 2021 when we left Afghanistan, even though we were still involved in the conflict? It's a bunch of bullshit, political ramblings. It's a bunch of fake outs. Yeah, we pull out for the most part, but we still in there a little bit. But we still will maintain a state of war. It's good for business, and it allows for the president to be able to do things that otherwise they wouldn't be able to do. One of those things is taking your civil liberties. Another thing is being able to send a certain number of troops into areas, and for companies to be able to provide weaponry. And that's the main thing, provide weaponry to some of these other countries. Coach, can you talk about the zodiacs and its importance in the Abrahamic religion? Things started early. Okay, I'll check it out. As far as Victoria's Secrets, I'm not really strong on zodiacs, but what I can say is that there is ample evidence that the zodiacs played a part in how they view the ages and how they view things that are coming. When we look into the night sky right now, we have a more scientific approach of knowing what stars are, nebulas, galaxies, all that sort of thing, and what these planets and those things are. Back then, for them, they read them as signs. The Bible even tells them, "I'll put these in the heavens for signs for you." You know, they thought the moon emitted its own light because the moon was ruling the day. I mean, ruling the night, and the sun was ruling the day. Oh yeah, that's another funny video I'm gonna do about the moon and some of the other stories based on it. But let me write this down. But they correlate some of these stories to the ages in the sense of how each of these patriarchs represents a certain age, where like Jesus was the age of Pisces. Moses was the age of, what's before Pisces? Aries, the ram. And then Abraham was the age of the bull. And these are based on the great year of the precession of the equinox, and how the wobble of the earth takes about 26,000 years for it to wobble. And the sun comes in and out of different zodiacs based on, you know, over these time frames. And these are the different ages of humanity. So they use it for that. They use the zodiacs for that kind of thing to determine how they were going to function and how their worship was going to be. This is why the people, Abrahamic people today, don't accept Jesus. So, well, the Jews don't accept Jesus, so they still blow the ram's horn. What's it called, the shofar? They still blow the ram's horn because they're in the mindset of the age of the ram. The age of Pisces for them hasn't come yet because their Messiah has not come. So they're using these zodiacs for that. They use comets, and comets are the hailing of a bird. And it's not just them. It is all pretty much most of your ancient religion use zodiacs, and they use astrological events. They turn astronomical events into astrological events to show when a king has been born, or some drought or time frame is about to happen. And they wrote it into their religions. When for me, in truth, I give it about a 30% validity or influence in these things. And only because of things like I did my star chart from when I was born. And I can say that basically that 25% of me that is genetic, the star chart was pretty much correct. But then when you look at the different experiences that a person has, those experiences change you or create more of you than where the stars were when you were born, or the age that you're in. We're supposed to be we're supposed to be in the transitionary period between the age of Pisces and the age of Aquarius. Now, in that, you can say that's why a lot of people are leaving these Abrahamic religions and leaving a lot of religions, period, is because we're going to this age of Aquarius, which is a man pouring out a pitcher of water, which you do find in your Bible, where Jesus said, they asked him, whose house are we going to go into? He said, find a man carrying a pitcher of water and we'll go into his house, meaning the zodiac house of Aquarius, knowing full and damn well that back in those time frame, men don't carry water. That is still today in a lot of tribes today. Men don't carry water. That's a woman's job. So if you saw a man carrying water, for them, it may have been definitely looked upon as an astrological thing, not a literal thing, right? Now, this age of Aquarius is supposed to be an age of enlightenment. We're going into an enlightenment age. The Kemetic people, they use metals. There was like an alchemy. So we're supposed to be going into a golden age from an iron age. Is it iron or copper? I think iron age. I mean, it goes gold, silver, bronze, iron, copper. So we're supposed to be going from this copper age into a golden age, starting back up. The Mayans calendar At the end of the 13th Bantoon in 2012, we were supposed to be going back to the first Bantoon. The first Bantoon is an age of enlightenment, a great, glorious time frame. It usually takes about 150 years to transition. And that's why there should be some upheaval of governments, of systems, in order for us to transition into this new age. But we're always transitioning. We're always moving. We're always changing our mindset. But even within every age, there's always war. There's always conflict. There's people who are rich. There are people who are poor. You're going to have that in every age. There has never, in our recorded history, we cannot find a time frame where the world was in a golden age and a time of peace. I think it's a fantasy that we're going to go into some golden age, because you will basically have to change the condition of man from being, you have to get rid of greed. You have to get rid of, as the Buddhists say, get rid of desire. Those things are just as innate in people as anything else. If I don't have resources, I'm going to go and get resources. And if I got to take them, I'm going to take them. You know, can we come into a time frame where we peacefully trade with each other? That means we have to go into a one world government. And it would have to be, there was a great Star Trek episode where they had the mirror dimension, where if you look at Star Trek, the age that they were in, the condition that they were in, they had one world religion, but every society still kept its traditions and whatnot. But you was able to travel everywhere. There was free trade everywhere, so that resources were shared, more shared, easily traded and purchased. We haven't experienced anything like that. In their mirror dimension, it was more of a totalitarian state where people were abusing it, and it was the super rich and the super poor. In their mirror dimension, and people were out for themselves, which is the inherent danger of a one world government. You know, if we were to transition into that today, it wouldn't be peaceful. People would, the rich would get even richer, the poor would get even poorer. Something like that would have to happen. And the reason why it worked out in Star Trek Generations is because they were coming in the 22nd century. The way they explained it, in the 22nd century, they were coming out of a time where the world had been decimated through war and all that kind of stuff. And then seeing how the Vulcans had a peaceful society on the one world, they emulated that. And that allowed for the Star Trek universe to function. We are nowhere near that. There's too many countries that are up on high and too many countries that are down on low, that one would take advantage of the other. But it would take us being in that state. So we might have to go through a total decimation of the world in order for the world to come out of it in a one world system where things are more on an even scale, for us to then progress to a higher level of consciousness and a higher level of living. But we have to get rid of that. So if we're going into this age of Aquarius, it is not going to be this. We will get rid of certain religions, but what will we replace it with? And will our governmental systems acquiesce to those? Would zodiacs be accurate since we switched calendars? The zodiac is accurate. What the problem when we switched calendars is because Julius Caesar's calendar, he wanted it to start on January 1st. It switched up when the new year was. The zodiac still functions in the right months. The zodiac still functions, but the calendar dates of those zodiacs, I mean, the new year is off, and he added 2 more months. He added June and August to the calendar, and that kind of threw some things off with the zodiacs of when you were supposedly born. But nobody would really. Do we really know? Am I really a Libra? Yeah, because of when I was born, and where Libra was with the sun. But is Libra a month that goes in September through October? It does, because that's where the sun is. But if I was pre-Julian calendar, a Libra would have fell in different months. It would have fell in the December months, or November. Well, is it? Yeah, like November, December, or December, January months time frame. And then the new year started at the end of the spring equinox. So the new year will be in like March and April time frame, not today, not January 1st, rather. Right, Richie. The devil, Lucifer, Beelzebub, all kind of names. And most of these names, Lucifer and Satan, the Satan, had nothing to do with being evil at all. Lucifer wasn't humble in the first telling of use of Lucifer. In the second use of Lucifer, it has nothing to do with humility, just letting you know that the light is coming, the life is coming, the illumination is coming. But both have the illumination is coming, but one is lacking humility, where the other one is just there. It's just the harbinger beforehand. But they have nothing to do with evil. We're only in science. We're only in the third phase of human evolution. Okay, I don't know what phase it is. Depends on your perspective on that. To me, um, if you look at it from the Sumerian story, then we might be in a second phase, second or third phase. If you look at it from, you take the Sumerians out of it, shit, we might be in the 20th, 30th, 80th phase. Lucifer equals freedom and enlightenment. Yeah, from the revelation standpoint of Lucifer, freedom, enlightenment. Um, even from the Old Testament, just add humility to it, and you are still enlightened. Shaitan, an aspect of Lucifer. Two more to go. I ain't counting on. I ain't giving humans that much credit. I've never seen that word. Now the Shaitan, I see this as a song sung by the children of Osiris on SoundCloud. Okay. This mom has ups. I don't know. That's what I got for Shaitan. But it tried to switch it to a different word. Um, it wanted to take me to a different spelling of that word. They wanted to spell it Shaitan. That seems to correlate. Is Shaitan a Hebrew word? Originally, the Ibis and their name. Now that the Shaitan, which is the demon in Arabic, in Adwa Allah, Adwa, Adwa Allah, which is enemy of God in the Arabic, but that's Shaytan. Of course, spellings can change. But this seems to be a more of a Arabic word. But it doesn't correlate to Satan. It wouldn't, because you're looking at Semitic language versus a non-Semitic language. And the Satan is the administrator in the its original meaning is administrator. Simply just that. An administrator. So it wouldn't have anything to do with Satan in the sense that the Hebrew have created Satan. See, we have to be mindful of these words, and just because they sound similar, look similar, doesn't mean they're similar, because we have to look at where the words come from. You know, I would say it to them blue in the face. Satan is a non-Semitic Sumerian word, and we don't know where the Sumerian language came from. It was just a language that was in the Near East. Didn't have anything, didn't know anything, don't know where the Sumerians came from prior to being in Sumer. And the Akkadians, when they took over, the Akkadians tried to move things over as best they possibly could. And from the Akkadian language is a Semitic language, and their Satan was still an administrator. But by the time you get to the Hebrew language, their Semitic language, it takes on a whole nother meaning. What happened to the town hall thing you were talking about doing? I was talking about doing the town hall thing. When was I talking about doing the town hall thing? I don't know, the English languages and spelling, and it's like spells. I don't know, I've heard that one before, and I never really gave it much thought. But I have to give that thought. I mean, anything you say out, any word, every language has spells, though. There were spells in the Kemetic language. We just say spelling, and that's close to casting spells, but does it really have something to do with that when every language has spell casting? You can find that in every language. Oh, you're talking about with Kevin? Yeah, we got up to Kevin's house because he only lives like an hour away from me. And we got up there, and their internet out in the middle. He lived in the middle of no damn well, sort of, and the Wi-Fi wasn't working. So we weren't able to do it. But we're going to plan it again. I know I'm supposed to see him this Saturday. This weekend is my birthday weekend. And I know I'm going to see him this Saturday because we're going to a winery. And we're going to enjoy ourselves at a vineyard. So we're going to a vineyard, I should say. We're going to this vineyard. We're going to just sit out there, chill, smoke cigars, drink wine, have some food. I was trying to make it into an event, a bigger event, but only about 4 or 5 people are coming. Well, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, only about like 5 people are coming, plus me and Angelina. So that'd be like 7 people. But while we're up there, I'll definitely, or even this week, I'll talk to him about scheduling for us to be able to do that again. But he wants to talk about relationships and the fight between men and women is what he wants to talk about. But I'm definitely going to have him on some of my other shows, though. We have decided that we're going to do a lot more shows together. Perfect. I was about to contact him, see if he was busy right now and throw his butt on here. But I see what time it is, and I gotta go to the bank. So I'm gonna have to end this in a few minutes, in about 10 minutes or so, because somebody was using my bank card while I was out of town. So I had to. I love Navy Federal. Love. Right. Who said no? It's Arabic. That's why I said it's Arabic. It's not Hebrew. What's Arabic? Use that what they was writing earlier. The Shantan. That's Arabic. It's not Hebrew. And Satan is Sumerian, and it's not Semitic at all. But yeah, somebody was using my card while we was out of town, so I got to go up to Navy Federal and get all new cards. Love Navy Federal. Man, they just called me up. Hey, we got some stuff that don't look right. And it was crazy. Somebody was trying to use my card on like Grubhub or DoorDash or something like that for freaking McDonald's in Georgia while I'm in North Carolina, down near Savannah. I was like, this is some bullshit. So now I have to go get new cards, and I have to come back on my laptop, change all my automatic withdrawals from that card. Because I like my withdrawals come from the card, not from my checking account, from the checking with the routing number, because it'd be like a 3-day delay. I don't like that. I like take the money. So I do have to get off here because I gotta go do that, and then the trunk of my car won't open. So all our luggage from this weekend is in the trunk of the car. So no, I won't be able to stay on here till like for 3 hours today. Cool. Cool. That's all I want to talk about. Oh, that's all he want to talk about. As far as me and him doing a show that he wants to produce, yeah, he wants to talk about relationship. But I am going to get him on some of the channels when we're talking about the religious things as well, the spiritual things. So on my podcast, we'll talk about that, even though we will simulcast on talking about relationships and men and women. But because I like talking about anything. I like talking about a bunch of different stuff. I don't like being isolated into one type of conversation. How did someone get access to your credit card account information? Well, when you use your card, like at a McDonald's or at these different restaurants, they can, I forgot what it's called, but they can get your account number. They can get your card information. The thing that they don't have is your zip code. And then they can try to use it in other places. I forgot what it's called though. It happens, I would say, to me, it happens about every 5 years that somebody is grabbing my card, and Navy Federal is like, no. Now I love Navy Federal because they'll stop it, but even if some of it gets through, like the last time it happened was actually about 2 years ago. No, hell. Actually, well, I know what happened a year ago. That was an ex trying to use my card a little over a year ago. And they will stop the transaction. The beauty of, and this, Navy Federal's not paying me anything for it to say this, but, and Navy Federal, if you want to pay me, I don't mind. Navy Federal not only will stop it, but they'll put, if you say, well, that one's not mine, that one's not mine, that one's not mine, they will put that money right back into your account. Right. Of course, they'll do an investigation, and if they find that you're lying, they're going to take that money back and then close you out. But they put it right back into my account. And I told them, I said, nope, that's not me. That's not me. And I told them, I said, I can tell you who it is. I don't know what they did to the person or what they said to the person, but because I don't care. But yeah. And then this is why when I go to a gas station, I grab hold of the machine and I see if the thing will pop off. Because if it pops off or it wiggles, then they put a false reader on there. Somebody put a false reader on that gas tank, that gas machine, and it copies your card information. Or if I see a card that's just sitting at a gas station or somewhere, uh, there's technology they can use that reads your cards when you use them, and they're just sitting there. So if I see somebody just sitting at a gas station in their car, they're not doing anything, and just sitting there, then they're kind of spoofing people's cards. And so I won't use that. I won't use my card at that gas station. I am that person who will go in and tell the people who are running it, like, look, that person who's sitting in that car, how long they've been sitting there. And I would tell them about this car spoofing little scam and let them know you might want to investigate that, but I'm not going to use your gas right now. I know the feeling ordering a new debit card months ago and haven't used it. I don't feel like charging cards security codes on every site. Yeah, it's irritating. The sites, I never had a problem with the sites. The problem I've had is using it out in other locations. I understand why my brother uses cash so much, because my brother is a cash on hand guy. I've been in Georgia on the 23rd for 3 weeks. Get away from this cold. Where about in Georgia? Right, yeah, it's compromised machines. Now, the only ones you can't affect is when you go inside one. Angelina thinks it's because the McDonald's that it was late. We had left the cigar lounge and we was going to the beach. Of course, and she was like, and I felt snacky, so we would stop by to get some fries. So she think it was the guys at that McDonald's. They called some other McDonald's friends, but I don't know. What about tap play? If they're spoofing the machines, if that person sitting in the parking lot and they're spoofing, then they can still get your damn money. They can still get your card information, even if on the taps. Oh, you gonna be in McDonough, Georgia? Do you smoke cigars, T-Slaw? If not, you about to, because you let me know when you're there. Because there's a guy who's cigar lounge that's down there. I like going to hang out with him every now and then, and I'll meet you down there. We can, sit and chat, hang out with John. But even if you don't smoke cigar, we can sit outside if it ain't too cold, and I'll sit outside with you. So if you don't want to, smoke, because I do that with Donald when he comes into town. Donald doesn't smoke cigars, so we'll sit outside. So let me know. Oh, Angelique, you had it happen twice to you this year. They're always out there trying to do it, always. And then I'll get things from Facebook that say we're on the Meta team and somebody's trying to get in your account, or you're going to be kicked off as an administrator, and you got to verify your account. And it's like, no, I'm not doing that, because you're just trying to get into my thing so that you can then go and change my bank account system so that when Facebook pays me for the videos, that they can then grab that. Bruh. Okay. I can I'll show you some other sweet cigars, but you cannot smoke a Black and Mild. I know that's what you meant. I'm assuming you meant them, because you said them Black Mans. We do not smoke Black and Milds in cigar lounges. Black and Milds are not cigars. Let me tell you what a Black and Mild is. So you got different grades of cigar leaves. You got A, and within each one you got AAA, AA. You got A plus, A plus. You got A plus, A minus leaves. And you got same thing with B, C, and D. Oh, appreciate that, Lance. I'm going to take that, Lance, as a happy birthday donation of that $5. Thanks for the happy birthday donation. But so they take those. Now the leaves that are horrible, they're D leaves. Nobody uses them for any cigar whatsoever. They take those, they crunch them all up. Some of the low C, the C minuses as well, and they'll chop them all up. They'll sell them to the people like who make Black and Mild. They'll sell them to them. Black and Mild will spray them with a whole bunch of chemicals, and then they press them into a cigar that's a Black and Mild. So you got some what used to be a natural leaf, now is a chemicalized leaf, and it's trash. And that's what a Black and Mild is. You cannot smoke a Black and Mild in a cigar lounge, ever. Now you can get you a Tatiana, which is some sweet shit, some Fat Bottom Betty's, Tabox. I'll put you on with some of that, but you cannot smoke that. But I put you on game. I got you, bro. I got you. We'll meet down at McDonald's at Groovy Blues and hang out with my guy John and smoke some real cigars and have some drinks. It's BYOB, by the way. But yeah, make sure you eat before you get there, or bring some food, or you can grub up some food or whatever, some food while we're there. But yeah, you got to eat beforehand. You can't drink that, can't have that nasty shit. See, now mushrooms is different. See, I gotta be at home for the mushrooms now. I can't be out and about with no mushrooms. Only if you're microdosing, but when you're gonna do a trip, you gotta be. And we can arrange that. We can have to talk about that. We can arrange that. But mushroom, that's in the house, ain't going nowhere for 6 hours, 7 hours kind of deal. Go through your whole thing for that. I don't go nowhere. Mushroom, you stay home. You gotta stay stationary for about 6 hours. Oh shit, yeah. Yeah. And then especially if you've never done it before. See, the hard part if you've never done it before is figuring out what your dosage would be. So like I wouldn't give you more, like I wouldn't recommend you do more than 3 ounces in your first trial. I experimented. I did like 1 ounce, then 2 ounces, then 3 ounces, then 4 ounces to figure out what's going to give me a trip. If I do 1 ounce of mushrooms, I'm not going to trip at all. I have some clarity and some focus and all that. And greens are greener and blues are bluer. But in order for me to go deep into my mind, I need around 3.5 to 4 ounces. What up, Ron? You popping in and we getting ready to pop out. But from Canada, Alberta, Canada. But yeah, we can. Yeah, Brian, that'd be cool. But you in Cape Cod. I mean, I said Cape Cod. That man, he in Cape Town. Cape Town. That would be. See, as the channel get bigger, I would love to do some retreats and things of that nature, and we can have those kind of sessions at those retreats. I just don't know if we could generate enough people. I don't do events because I would hate to plan a big an event and then it's like 2-3 people, and everybody's so spread out. Unless we did like an annual event, but it'll have to be planned like. Start planning it, have it set up now for like August. Yeah, grams. Yeah, sorry. Thank you, Sydney. Grams, not ounces. Ooh, shit. Yes, thank you, Sydney. Grams. I was just realized when you said that, I realized I was saying ounces, wasn't I? Grams, Ron. Grams, yes. Yeah, actually, I started microdosing and I started writing, and what was supposed to be like a short pamphlet is turning into a much larger writing. But microdosing is great for accomplishing tasks, especially creative tasks. Oh, Joshua, your feelings are hurt. Because Joshua, if you went to my coaching page, you see that I do coach in a lot of other subject matters, sir. You want to open your chakras, Joshua, I help you open chakras. You want to start a business, I help you start a business. You have some issues in your relationship, I help you with that. You haven't really figured out who you are and what you want to do with yourself, I help you figure that out too. You need some leadership training, I got you, Joshua. Your feelings hurt. No, I don't believe in Jesus. Have a group outing. That could work, T. I can't believe I said damn grams. I mean ounces. He didn't mess up the vibe, man. I ain't worried about him. What's funny to me is that these people don't realize I'm not trying to talk to Joshua and say, Joshua, you believe in Jesus, you need to leave Jesus because Jesus is fake and Jesus is this and that and third. If Jesus is good, if you good with Jesus, roll with Jesus. Nobody's trying to change you. I deal with people who already made that decision. Like if Joshua said, "Oh, I actually had this happen one time. I had a person, they paid for a coaching session under false pretenses. They said that they wanted to understand and needed help in their questions for why they gave the impression that they had already decided, or they was in the process of deciding of walking away from religion. And so that's what they set up the counseling session for. But then once we got into the counseling session, all they wanted, they were just arguing for Jesus and all this stuff. And I was like, no, this is not what I do coaching for. If you're good with Jesus, stay there. I'm not here to argue and debate with you, not for my coaching. Now, if you're walking away from religion and you want to get more steadfast in that walk, that's what I'll coach you on. But if Joshua contacted me today and was like, no, and then want to do a coaching session, I'd be like, no, I wouldn't do it. Why can't you stop talking about the Bible? Well, on my other channels, I don't talk about the Bible, but because this channel is for people who are walking away from religion. So that's why we talk about it, because the primary group that I talk to are people who were Christians and they've walked away or they're in the process of walking away. So I guide them in more information to solidify that walk. That would be like asking a Christian, why do you keep going to church if you already believe in Jesus? You go there to solidify your walk in Jesus. So people come here to solidify their walk away from Jesus. You see what I'm saying? Okay, so you can respect that. Cool. See, this is what I do like. I can appreciate a person like Joshua who can ask the questions. I express why. Even though he said, I don't understand your purpose, what your purpose is. And then he said, I can respect that. Okay. I wouldn't put him in that category of the super pushy people who got to force their thing on somebody. But to say, okay, well, that's your reason. That's what you're doing. Cool. I would never walk into a church and try to convince those people in that church or stand outside of a church and have people trying to get you to join their thing or protest like that group of people who went into that mall and they were just walking and took over the mall, just yelling out people for people to convert to Jesus. Like, nobody asked you to come do that. And you're disrupting people's lives. I'm not here to disrupt anybody's life. People I talk to, they've already made that change. I have more patience with them. It's because I understand, not that I've ever felt that way, but I understand how hard it can be to hear somebody speaking what you would consider negatively towards something that you hold dear. You know what I mean? Like, I hold my mother dear. I hold my grandfather dear to me. Now, when my aunts and my mom would tell me about his abusive history, I never knew that abusive guy. I used to get so angry when they would talk about my grandfather like that. But they would tell me from their perspective. I had to recognize that's their perspective. So for me, it was hard to hear. So if you got a person who's Christian, it's hard for them to hear somebody talking negatively about their deity, because you're basically talking about somebody that they have given their life to, that they love to. That's hard for them to hear. Now, most of them can't. And for those who can't just keep it moving, they're angry. And I can understand that. And so I try to be patient with it. And if they are truly seeking some levels of understanding, then I'll try to talk to them and just explain that I'm not trying to convince you, but this is what we are doing for people who have decided to walk away. So that's why I have patience for them. I related to how I feel about my grandfather, because even to this day, when my aunts, if they say something about my grandfather prior to his change of mentality towards my grandmother, and I love my grandma. That's my. It's hard to hear, but I recognize where they're coming from, and I give them that space. And if they're still, and you can tell to some degree they're still holding on to that. I'm like, but at least for when I was born, he wasn't that way. Can y'all see the change and then respect the change? But I can tell they still have a hard time with that. Are you proud of what you do? Very proud of what I do. Very, very proud of what I do. Because I know what it's like. See, before this internet thing, I was doing this by myself. There was no community. In the late 80s, in the 80s and the 90s, especially the 90s, when I was really going more full throttle with it, I was by myself. There was nobody else. So to have community is an amazing thing. It's the same way that you have community. By going to your churches or being in your groups or just having that same belief, that same community you have, I didn't have that. So to be able to connect with people and let people know that they're not by themselves in this, that they don't have to go through the struggle by themselves. They don't, because it's a huge struggle. People don't realize how hard it is to change like that. It's incredibly difficult, that what you're going through, and you lose family, you lose friends. As you guys know, with Kevin, he lost a job. He couldn't even live in the same community. He had to leave. People with death threats and that sort of thing. It's a hard thing to go through. So I'm very proud to be able to provide a platform where we can have community. How much do you charge for coaching classes, coaching? What type of classes do you coach? It depends on what you're talking about. Whether it's business or it's one-on-one, just a session. Like a session is $100, just a plain session. But that's my website. But a regular session is just $100. If it's a specific type of thing, like opening your chakras, which is going to be multiple sessions, there's a whole program for that. If it's Tantra, there's a whole program for that. If it's business oriented, there's whole programs for that. So go to my website, you can see the different programs for different things. But then I usually just say, send me an email or send me a contact information, tell me what you're looking for, and I can kind of guide you into what would be better for you. Coach, what's this mushroom they keep talking about? There are a bunch of variations of mushrooms. Depends. Like if you want to learn something, then you can take some golden teachers, especially if you're getting ready to doing some writing or something like that. You got the penis envy, which is a focused mushroom, but also it's going to send you on some trips if you want to open your mind. There's just Animascara. You get into like, you want to work through your spirituality, but those are hard to get. They feel you're attacking their belief. Yeah, they do. And I recognize that, and I tell most of them, like there's some people on my Facebook. I'm like, why are you here? You are constantly here. Like, well, I'm here to save people who you're trying to trick. No, most of these people have already made up their mind. So why are you here? But I don't mind it. It's all right with me. They give me a lot of good content too, because I can't remember everything in the book to teach people, but they'll remind me of things, and it's like, oh yeah, you know what? I can do a class, I can do a video on that, I can teach them that one. And I said 3 of my relatives are J-Dubs. Try debating them. Yep, they got canned answers for everything. Well, they teach them that. Like before the J-Dubs go out and they start to do their ministry of going out, and same with the Mormons, they first have to go through a training of what to answer when a person says this, what to answer when a person says that. So they already have these preset answers. Now, when you push beyond, I will continue to go at if they come to me. I don't go at them, but knocking on my doors, you coming to me. I didn't ask you to come knock on my door. I didn't have a sign that said, please, J-Dubs, come to my door. Please, little Mormon boys, come to my door. I didn't do any of that. So you came to my door on your own volition. So you're going to get all this. But I push them beyond their canned answers to where they have to think for themselves. And that's usually when they get up and leave, because they're not going to think for themselves. They just want to give you the canned answer. Then, well, just take a look at it. And I'm like, no, you know what? I'm a businessman. Those pamphlets cost money. And I know that for me, they're going to end up in the trash, plain and simple. So save that for somebody who actually wants and desires it. That way you save money. And I tell them all the time, save money. Yeah, I do that with everybody. You give me a business card. Nope. Let me just scan it. Save you money. So you get them on Romans 13. Now I gotta see what Romans 13. That's a whole chapter. What's Romans 13? I probably know it, but I don't know it just by saying Romans 13. Romans 13. Oh, submitting to government authorities. Huh. That's interesting. Yeah. Okay. Yes. I have used that one towards them as well. You know, it says, let everyone be subject to the governing authority for which there is no authority except that which God has established. The authorities that exist have been established by God. Consequently, whoever rebels against the authority is rebelling against what God has instituted, and those who do so will bring judgment to themselves. And oftentimes after that, I would bring up the fact of a draft. So the military drafts you into especially during Vietnam. You conscientious objector, you cannot be one if you are of any of these religions of Christianity or of this Bible, because you are you fall under that, and you're rebelling against God when you conscientiously object from being drafted into the military. Now, choosing to go, that's something different, but drafting, no. You know, and do you obey all the laws of the government? The government says that this is a law. Do you obey it? Divine right of right, because you got to give Caesar. And to me, when this chapter 13, this is definitely showing like the Romans had to have written this. There's no way this is written by people who were coming out of Judaism. A Jewish person would have never, ever written this, considering that one of the reasons during that era, during that time frame, you had to have a statue of Caesar inside of your temple. And once a year, you're supposed to pay homage to that statue. A Jewish person coming out of Judaism into the way, the Christians, would have never written that. Right? This is something that would have been written by, man, you about to make me make another video. This is something that was written by the Romans. That happens to be in Romans 13. Yep. I'm gonna organize this better later on. This definitely. So when people, and this God inspired this. This is why you also pay taxes for the government, for the authorities are God's servants who give their full time to governing. Give to everyone what you owe them. If you owe taxes, pay taxes. If revenue, yes. Oh yeah, I'm gonna have a good time with this one today. That's why I got to get out of here so I can run these errands, because I'm pretty sure I am going to be at the Ford dealership for a minute. since I'm gonna be a walk-in. But I gotta get this trunk open today. So yeah, I'm gonna have to get out of here, guys. It's been good. Still got me for almost 3 hours. Look at that. Y'all tricked me. Say you're done with taxes and fictitious authority. Man, don't tell the government, but I haven't paid taxes since 1991. And the one time I was audited, they wound up owing me another $700 because I missed some gray area. I play in gray all day. All day I play in gray. That's also why I couldn't live in a socialist country. Like, I know you up there in Canada. God damn, they take y'all. They be trying to rip y'all paychecks. I understand you got a lot of social programs and that sort of thing. You know, when I lived in Germany, their social programs were great for the people and everything. But, man, they take like 45% of your money. And you go your life and you never need surgeries and you never need a lot of those programs. It's like, goddamn, they just took advantage of it. But then their medical stuff was behind because the government was paying for everything. So their governmental system, their innovation was slowed down. So it's oof. It has its pluses and minuses for sure. For sure. It has its pluses and minuses. Oh. Sorry, I just seen what the stock doing right now. Yep, TQQ. It started out today at $37.70 and it went up to 38 and we went all the way up to 39 and it's back down to 38. I could have made a couple of dollars a day if I was paying attention. That's how I play with it. A couple of dollars, that's about it. I command protection from the higher and I get it. Nobody bothers me. I'm with you. But healthcare should be socialized given the fraudulent activities. When you look at it from an American perspective, you see all the innovation that we have, then you'll say, yes, we should socialize it. The thing is, 20, 30, 40 years later, our level of medicine will go down. It'll go down. Now we can do better to create some kind of hybrid, which is, I think, I never really read the Obamacare stuff too deep, but no. Let me put it like this. Socialized medicine is probably on par with VA medication, medical. There are a lot of limitations as to what you can get done at VA, as well as timing. It takes forever sometimes to get things done unless it's an emergency. And the VA doesn't have the best technology that's available. So sometimes they will, if it's something acute, they'll send you out to civilians. So you got to have that balance. If there was a socialized VA style medical for people, but then if you needed something that was beyond that, it pays for you to go out to private, then that would work. But a complete socialized system where everything is like the VA, that's not going to work. You're going to slow down innovation. Yeah, I'm not a Bitcoin person. That shit is fueled. I mean, all markets are fueled by emotion. But god dang, at least it's fueled by a company that actually have supply and demand. You know what I'm saying? Or funds that are based on multiple companies' supply and demand. Bitcoin is just based on people's feelings, just total feelings. All them Bitcoin, Dodge, Ethereal. That's just, I can't play with that. It's not for me. I'll let y'all have that one. But as I said, I gotta go, and y'all keep trying to trick me. So I gotta go. I appreciate everybody. Your father lives at the VA hospital for like 3 years. Yeah, you can. If something were to happen to me, I can go and live at the VA. if like everything went to hell in a handbasket. So it does have its benefits. But the VAs are technologically behind the rest of America. So there is that part. You're not getting the best treatment that you can get in this country. So would you want the whole country to go that route? Would be the question. That's why I was saying some type of hybrid system. It's beyond my total capabilities of understanding. I'm pretty sure there's some things about it that I don't quite get. I can learn it, but I don't quite get it. I haven't taken the time to study it because I'm not a politician. But I do have to get out here. You guys have a great day. Like I said, you a vet. Same here again. Yep. Marine Corps, baby. Marine Corps. Simplify. But we are going to call it a day, and tomorrow we'll have an interesting subject. Tomorrow I'll make some videos today. You guys continue. Who donated some cash? I always like to give my thanks. Lance, I appreciate you tremendously for the $5 birthday gift. My born day is October 15th. And I appreciate the gift, my guy. Even if it was just for doing this, I appreciate the gifts. I always appreciate you guys' gifts. Share the videos. That's the biggest gift. I appreciate that tremendously for y'all to share every video, especially when I produce these videos later today. I need y'all to share them. Share. So y'all have a great day. And remember always, you got to free yourself to be yourself because your greatness is non-negotiable. Good journey, good vibrations. And I will see you guys tomorrow.